On days like this, oh, how I long for the calm, unwavering and timeless certainty of the late, great Queen Elizabeth II to guide the royal family, the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth through the process of modernisation without giving in to the destructive forces who simply want to tear it all down. I think the King has fallen into the Guardian's trap, and I fear it could have grave consequences. So today, Charles officially came out in support of this Guardian-backed project investigating the monarchy's historical links with transatlantic slavery. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson told The Guardian this is an issue that His Majesty takes profoundly seriously, before adding that process has continued with vigour and determination since His Majesty's accession. As part of that drive, the royal household is supporting this research through access to the royal collection and the royal archives. Now, that follows this statement Charles made to the Commonwealth Heads of Government reception in Rwanda last year.
I cannot describe the depths of my personal sorrow at the suffering of so many, as I continue to deepen my own understanding of slavery's enduring impact.
Now, that sentiment might be right, but King Charles needs to wise up to the nefarious forces behind this campaign, who want nothing less than the royal family and the United Kingdom itself to be made bankrupt via historic reparations for the sins of our fathers centuries ago. Today's bombshell statement was prompted by The Guardian being handed a document showing a transfer of £1,000 of shares in the slave-trading Royal African Company in 1689 from Edward Colston to King William III. Now, here's where things get dodgy. That document was discovered by Dr. Brooke Newman, a historian at Virginia Commonwealth University, who is currently writing a book called The Queen's Silence, which is expected to be highly critical of Charles's late mother. Here's the key line from The Guardian's report on the matter. She was commissioned as a consultant by The Guardian's Cotton Capital project, which has investigated this newspaper's links to the enslavement of African people. So, just as I predicted, The Guardian's self-flagellation last month over its own slave links, which resulted in a pathetic £10 million payment over a decade, was part of a much wider project to bring the reparation debate to the fore in other British organisations, including the royal family. Now, Dr. Newman has today told The Guardian her research shows clear evidence of the British monarchy's central involvement in the slave trade and the procurement of its modern-day wealth. She said there is no doubt that the centuries of investment in African slavery and the slave trade contributed hugely to building the status, prestige and fortune of today's royal family. There's no mention of Britain being the first in the world to ban slavery, of course. And the real intentions of Dr. Newman, who I asked on the show tonight and she refused to appear, they could not be clearer. A rabid anti-monarchist, she claims everyone in Britain has benefited from the slave trade. Her work as a historian has been dedicated to destroying the Windsors. Indeed, one of her many incendiary articles, headlined Throne of Blood, was posted on the BLM UK website and featured one of her countless demands for slavery reparations from the royal family. A crystal clear vision into her destructive world view. Mere hours after the late Queen died, Newman was spouting Republican bile about Her Majesty. She was criticising the British people for fawning over our greatest ever monarch, before insisting she wasn't universally beloved and questioning her legacy because she failed to apologise for her ancestors' role in slavery. Oh, and guess what? Guess what? You won't be surprised by this. She's a fully paid-up member of the Sussex Squad, towing the tired old line that Meghan was a victim of racism in Britain and accusing the late Queen of letting her down. The American academic's mission to destroy the monarchy led her to work as a consultant with the British-born comedian John Oliver in November 2022, helping the lefty Liberal presenter script Republican attack lines like this.
The royal family's wealth, unlike their gene pool, is massive. They're like a human appendix. We've long evolved past needing them, and there's a compelling case for their surgical removal. They'll sit atop a pile of stolen wealth, wearing crowns adorned with other countries' treasures.
Dr. Newman even predicted that Charles's reign would herald the end of the Commonwealth and the monarchy as we know it. And that's why the king has to be so careful here. Look at who he's dealing with. Look at who he's giving into. And if he accepts the Guardian's narrative, which he has, unfortunately, the drumbeat and demands for reparations from what the hard left around the world continue to see as the walking, talking representation of colonialism, the British royal family, might become too loud to ignore. And who suffers then? Let me think. Who suffers then? Is Charles really going to give up Buckingham Palace, Balmoral, Sandringham, his helicopters, his staff and his Duchy of Cornwall profits? Or will it be everyday Brits who are made poorer? We know the answer to that. So King Charles, please stop trying to reason with the hard left Guardian and their ilk. They want to destroy you and everything that makes Britain great in the process.